Welcome back to our channel.
Today,
in quiet reverence,
we remember the talented artists who left us too
soon.
Some
only just days ago.
From the
icons of Hollywood to rising
stars,
stars,
they each brought light to the world of
entertainment
until they passed away
suddenly.
If you
If
feel
moved by their stories,
we invite you to leave a like
as a silent tribute in their memory.
Thank you.
Now,
Let us begin.
Let us begin. Gene Hackman, the Oscar-winning legend of The French Connection, tragically has passed away at the age of 95. The iconic actor, known for his powerful roles and quiet strength, was found lifeless in his Santa Fe home alongside his beloved wife, pianist Betsy Arakawa, who had died just days earlier. Their deaths, sadly discovered on February 26th, marked the end of a storied life that captivated generations. Gene Hackman's name is etched into the history of American cinema. Over 4 decades, he delivered more than 100 unforgettable performances, winning 2 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTAs, and a Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award. From Bonnie and Clyde to Unforgiven and the Royal Tenenbaums, Hackman brought depth and grit to every role, leaving an enduring cultural impact. According to the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator, Hackman died of severe heart disease and late-stage Alzheimer's. His wife, Betsy, passed away a week earlier from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare rodent-borne illness. Tragically, due to his condition, Hackman may not have realized she had died. After retiring from acting in 2004, Hackman embraced a quieter life, writing novels, painting, and fishing. His battle with aging and illness was marked by grace and dignity, a quiet redemption lived away from fame. In a heartfelt statement, his daughters shared, "To the world, he was a star, but to us, he was simply Dad." Gene Hackman leaves behind a legacy of storytelling, strength, and humility. His final published work was the thriller Pursuit in 2013. Which of Gene Hackman's unforgettable roles lives on in your memory? Share your thoughts and let us honor this remarkable life together. Ed Fiori, the man who once halted Tiger Woods' legendary rise, has sadly passed away at the age of 72. His death, confirmed by the PGA Tour on July 6th, comes after a quiet but courageous battle with cancer. Though never a headline seeker, Fiori etched his name in golf history with one unforgettable feat, defeating a young Tiger Woods at the 1996 Quad City Classic. Woods, leading after 54 holes, stumbled, and Fiori seized the moment. For 13 years, no one else would do the same on the PGA Tour. But Ed Fiori's career was more than just one historic win. He captured 4 PGA Tour titles, out-dueling Hall of Famers like Tom Weiskopf and Tom Kite in fierce playoffs. Though he never became a household name, those who knew golf saw in him a warrior spirit, unwavering under pressure. His later years were marked by pain, chronic back issues, spinal fusion surgery in 2005, and a fading presence on the senior tour. Yet Ed never complained. In 2019, he reflected, "Don't feel sorry for me. I've had a great life in a game I love. It was never easy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Even today, people call me the Tiger Killer. I don't mind. I'll never forget that weekend at John Deere." Ed Fiori's legacy lives in quiet courage, in the joy of the game, and in the hearts of those who remember the man who never gave up. What do you remember most about him? Michael Madsen, the rugged icon of Quentin Tarantino's cinematic world, has tragically passed away at the age of 67. The veteran actor was found dead at his Malibu home on June 27th. His representative confirmed the cause as cardiac arrest. Known for his haunting presence and voice that resonated like gravel, Madsen left behind a career that defined American crime cinema. He rose to cult fame as Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, 1992, with a scene so iconic it rewrote indie film history. His long-standing collaboration with Quentin Tarantino included unforgettable roles in Kill Bill, The Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. With over 300 roles, from Donnie Brasco to Sin City, Madsen became a cultural symbol of raw masculinity and emotional volatility. Behind the screen, Madsen battled personal demons. The tragic suicide of his son, Hudson, in 2022 left a lasting scar. In 2024, he faced legal trouble following a domestic violence arrest. Yet even through pain, he found redemption in poetry, publishing raw, introspective collections and completing Tears for My Father just before his death. At the time of passing, Madsen was working on 3 films: Resurrection Road, Concessions, and Cookbook for Southern Housewives. His legacy lies not only in film, but in the honesty of a troubled artist who never stopped creating. Michael Madsen will be remembered, not just for how he performed, but for how fiercely he lived. Sophia Hutchins, the trusted advisor and beloved confidant of Caitlyn Jenner, has tragically passed away at the age of 29. Her death was confirmed after a devastating ATV accident in the mountains of Malibu on July 2nd. According to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Sophia's vehicle collided with a car before careening off a 350-foot cliff. Authorities described it as a heartbreaking accident, with her ATV still unrecovered deep in the ravine. More than a manager, Sophia Hutchins was a steady force behind one of America's most public figures. Introduced to Jenner a decade ago, their bond grew from shared laughter to professional trust. When she saw Caitlyn being taken advantage of, Sophia stepped in, becoming both business strategist and protective anchor. Jenner once described her as my best friend, family, and confidant, one of the top minds in her field. Though rarely in the spotlight herself, Sophia's influence was undeniable. She helped steer Jenner's public life, appeared at major events, and worked tirelessly behind the scenes to build something stable, lasting, and dignified. Her sudden passing has left an irreplaceable void. In Caitlyn's words, Sophia's value was undeniable. Her legacy is not measured in fame, but in the quiet strength, clarity, and fierce loyalty she brought to every moment. Sophia Hutchins, a life cut short, a presence that endures. Mark Snow, composer of the X-Files' iconic theme, has sadly passed away at the age of 78. The Emmy-nominated composer died on July 4th at his home in Connecticut, as confirmed by a family representative and longtime friend, composer Sean Callery. A trusted mentor and creative soul, Snow leaves behind a legacy that forever altered the sound of television. Best known for crafting the chilling, unforgettable theme of The X-Files, Snow scored the entire series from 1993 to its conclusion in 2018, along with the 1998 feature film. His haunting soundscapes became inseparable from the show's mystique, earning him 6 Emmy nominations for the series and 15 overall throughout his prolific career. Snow's musical fingerprints can also be found across beloved shows like Blue Bloods, Smallville, One Tree Hill, and Ghost Whisperer, as well as TV classics like The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. In both film and television, he shaped atmospheres with a signature blend of suspense, emotion, and elegance. Friend and fellow composer Sean Callery paid tribute, recalling Snow's laugh-out-loud biting wit and calling him irreplaceable. More than his melodies, Snow gave the world moments that echoed far beyond the screen. His music will live on, in every eerie whistle, every haunting note, a legacy of sound that will never be forgotten. Young Noble, the final voice of Outlaws and Tupac's loyal brother, has tragically passed away at the age of 47. His death was confirmed on July 4th by representatives close to him. The music world now mourns a voice that helped carry the flame of 1990s hip-hop, long after its golden era dimmed. Born Rufus Lee Cooper III, Young Noble was handpicked by Tupac Shakur in early 1996 to join Outlaws, becoming the last member to enter the iconic group. His commanding presence featured on tracks like Hail Mary in the Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, songs that remain timeless tributes to rebellion, faith, and brotherhood. Beyond his collaborations, he built a solo career rooted in grit and integrity, with albums like Noble Justice and Son of God reflecting a deep commitment to truth and legacy. In recent years, he continued creating and mentoring, quietly weathering life's private storms. His final social post, filled with hope and strength, read, "You're going to make it, no matter what it looks like right now. So hold on, be strong, and don't give up." Those words now echo as his last gift to fans, a parting message from a warrior of soul and sound. He leaves behind a legacy steeped in loyalty, resilience, and poetic fire. Rest in power, young Noble. Your voice will never fade. Lyndon L.B. Byers, Boston Bruins, enforcer turned beloved radio voice, has sadly passed away at the age of 61. The news was confirmed on July 5th by both his wife Annie and the Boston Bruins. Byers died the day prior on the 4th of July, leaving behind a legacy etched into the heart of Boston sports and media. No cause of death has been disclosed. Best known for his 9 hard-fought seasons with the Bruins from 1983 to 1992, Byers was a fierce enforcer on the ice, beloved for his grit and loyalty. He helped lead the team to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1988 and 1990, earning over 1,000 penalty minutes in a career that defined physical endurance and emotional strength. His most memorable season came in 1987 to 88, with 10 goals and 236 penalty minutes, a testament to his unyielding tenacity. After retiring from the NHL, Byers found new life behind the microphone. For over 25 years, he was a charismatic voice on Boston's WAF radio, entertaining generations with humor, warmth, and unmistakable passion. He also appeared in films and TV shows, showing surprising range as an actor. His wife Annie shared, "Remember his smile and know how much he cared about all of you." The Bruins echoed, "He became a true Bostonian. He is forever a part of our Bruins family." Byers leaves behind his wife Annie, son Will, and a city forever grateful for his legacy. Maureen Hingert, Miss Universe runner-up and trailblazing actress, has peacefully passed away at the age of 88. Tragically, the beloved star of Sri Lankan heritage died on June 30th at Huntington Hospital in Pasadena, California. The news was confirmed by her daughter, Marisa Zamparelli, who described her mother's final moments as beautiful and peaceful. Hingert's passing was first shared by fellow actress Angela Seneviratne, honoring the woman who once captivated the world as Miss Ceylon in 1955. Representing Sri Lanka, then known as Ceylon, Maureen made history as the second runner-up at the Miss Universe pageant, earning admiration for her striking beauty and poise. She remained in California, where her graceful presence transitioned to the silver screen, landing roles in The King and I, Gunman from Laredo, and several 1950s westerns under the stage name Jana Davi. Though her film career was brief, Hingert's cultural impact as one of the first South Asian women in Hollywood left a lasting legacy. After retiring in the early 1960s to raise her family, her life reflected quiet strength and dignity amid personal loss, including the passing of 2 daughters and former husband Mario Zamparelli. In the words of loved ones, Maureen Hingert will be remembered for her elegance, courage, and timeless charm. Her life story stands as a tribute to resilience and grace, a legacy that will continue to inspire. What role or memory of Maureen lives in your heart? Rick Hurst, the beloved Deputy Cletus from the Dukes of Hazzard, has sadly passed away at the age of 79. His passing was confirmed on June 26th by Cooter's Place Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where Rick was set to appear for a fan event. Though no cause of death was specified, the heartfelt announcement described him as more than a character. He was family. Rick Hurst captured hearts as Deputy Cletus Hogg in the iconic Dukes of Hazzard, bringing warmth, wit, and joy to American living rooms every Friday night for 5 seasons. With impeccable comedic timing and a genuine spirit, Rick brought a disarming charm to a role that continues to live on in nostalgia. Beyond Hazard County, Rick's career spanned decades, with guest roles in MASH, Happy Days, The Bob Newhart Show, and a range of beloved TV classics. He also appeared in films like Steel Magnolias and In the Line of Fire, showcasing his versatility. While no major public struggles were noted, Rick's legacy is that of quiet perseverance, evolving from a classically trained actor to a household name who never stopped connecting with fans across the country. He even returned for reunion specials in the late 90s and 2000. He is survived by his son, actor Ryan Hurst, best known for Sons of Anarchy. As tributes pour in, we remember Rick not just for the laughs he gave us, but for the kindness he shared off-screen. What happens when the most powerful voice in pop loses the one thing it can't replace? What does redemption look like when the stage goes dark, the applause fades, and even the breath that carried your soul becomes uncertain? This is not just the story of a superstar. This is the story of a woman who rose from a kitchen full of music and hand-me-down shoes to become one of the greatest vocalists in human memory, and who, when fate tried to take her voice, found a deeper one within. If you've ever leaned on a song in your darkest moment, if Celine Dion's voice ever made your heart feel seen, this is for you. We invite you to remember, to reflect, and if her story moves you, share yours in the comments. Because legacy lives in the echoes we leave behind. She was born Céline Marie Claudette Dion, the 14th and youngest child of Adhémar and Thérèse Dion, in the small Quebec town of Charlemagne on March 30th, 1968. The Dion home wasn't grand, just a modest brick house nestled near the riverside, but inside it thrummed with life and harmony. The kitchen was often louder than any stage, guitars leaning against counters, accordions on chairs, and 14 children layering their voices like woven prayer. At home, music was as essential as the bread my mother baked at dawn. Celine Dion. That bread wasn't metaphorical. Her mother baked loaves for the neighborhood bakery every morning before sunrise, while the kids prepared for school, or in Celine's case, the next church performance. At just 5 years old, she was already stealing hearts in parish halls, standing on a chair to reach the microphone, her small hands gripping it tightly as she belted French folk songs far beyond her years. They didn't have much. With 13 older siblings, Celine wore hand-me-down everything. But what they lacked in money, they made up for in music, and in a kind of collective resilience that would define her sobriety journey later in life. The first real turning point came when she was 12. Her mother and brother Jacques helped her record a demo of a song titled Ce n'était qu'un rêve. On a whim, they sent the tape to René Angelil, a music manager whose career had hit a wall. He listened. He cried. And then he mortgaged his house to finance a full album for this little girl from Charlemagne. That decision would change music history. By 13, she had already won a silver medal in Tokyo at the Yamaha World Popular Song Festival. By 15, she had released multiple French-language albums and had performed for Pope John Paul II in front of 65,000 people. While other kids were studying algebra, Celine was learning stage etiquette from her siblings, memorizing how to breathe from her diaphragm, and harmonizing en route to gigs in a rusty station wagon. René didn't just manage her, he mentored her like a second father, even as their bond would eventually evolve into love. He insisted she sleep 8 hours, warm up before every show, and improve her English by studying Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson videos with surgical precision. Her first English language breakthrough came in 1990 with the album Unison and its signature track, Where Does My Heart Beat Now? American audiences were floored. How could someone so petite, so polite, house such a monumental voice? I had to learn every syllable, every vowel. I didn't want to just sound like I knew English. I wanted to sing like I felt it. Celine Dion. She didn't just cross over, she shattered barriers. Her duet with Peabo Bryson, Beauty and the Beast, won an Academy Award. Her remake of The Power of Love became a staple of adult contemporary radio. And then came Because You Loved Me, a Diane Warren anthem that soundtracked a generation of love stories. But none of it could prepare the world, or Celine, for what came next. In 1997, James Cameron was searching for a closing song for his film Titanic. Celine initially refused. She didn't want to be the ballad girl again, but Renee urged her to try. She laid down a single take, and the result, My Heart Will Go On, became one of the most iconic songs in the history of recorded music, topping charts in over 20 countries, winning Grammy Awards, and selling more physical singles than any artist in the pre-digital era. I didn't want to sing another movie song, but then I heard the demo, and I wept. Celine Dion. By the time the millennium turned, Celine Dion had become a cultural impact across generations. She didn't just fill arenas, she filled memories. Wedding aisles, graduation reels, midnight karaoke sessions. She was the soundtrack to the unspoken, the legacy voice behind life's biggest feelings. In 2003, she began her historic Las Vegas residency, A New Day, directed by Cirque du Soleil's Franco Dragone. Critics scoffed. Pop stars didn't do residencies. That was for the twilight of a career. Celine proved them wrong. The show earned $385 million, revolutionized the economics of live performance, and turned Vegas into a prestige stage for top-tier artists. With her signature belt reaching 118 decibels, she sustained not only notes, but relevance. She had it all: chart dominance, global adoration, and a love story that had defied the odds. But as we'll see in part 2, even legends bleed. And even the strongest voice in pop must someday face the silence. At the height of her legacy, when her voice could part stadium silence like scripture, and her shows were selling out across continents, life reminded her, even divas must grieve. The first brush with heartache came in 2003, when Celine's beloved father, Ademar Dion, passed away from bone cancer. She stepped off stage in Las Vegas to take the call. That night, every encore felt like a whispered farewell. But it was only the beginning. On January 14th, 2016, Celine Dion lost her husband, mentor, and manager René Angelil, the man who had believed in her voice before the world did, to throat cancer. She had spent his final months juggling arena shows with hospice vigils, pressing cold compresses to his forehead between sound check and curtain rise. I would sing for thousands, and then cry alone in the dressing room. The hardest stage wasn't the one with lights, it was the quiet hallway after. Celine Dion. At his funeral in Montreal, she guided their eldest son, René Charles, past a sea of mourners, her voice quivering in a cathedral where once it had soared. 2 days later, her brother Daniel died from cancer. That same year, she lost her brother-in-law Michel, a longtime member of her tour crew. In 2020, her mother Thérèse Dion, the matriarch who had penned her first lyrics, passed away at age 92. Grief is not a closing curtain, but a dimmer switch. It softens, brightens, flickers, but never snuffs out the love it safeguards. Celine Dion. Through each obituary, each empty chair at the family table, she found comfort in ritual. She'd write handwritten letters to Renee and tuck them into a cedarwood box he had gifted her on their first anniversary. She'd bake her mother's tortillere from a grease-stained recipe card. The music, somehow, still pulsed through her veins. But fate wasn't finished testing her. In late 2022, Celine revealed that she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare autoimmune neurological disorder that causes severe muscle rigidity and spasms, affecting her ability to sing, walk, and even breathe properly. The very diaphragm that had launched 1,000 key changes was now locking mid-note. Her voice, once mighty enough to fill Olympic stadiums, began betraying her, one tremor at a time. Some days I hit the note, some days the note hits back. Either way, the song remains. Celine Dion. The sobriety journey that followed wasn't about addiction, but about surrender, surrendering speed for stillness, applause for breath, performance for presence. She withdrew from the Courage World Tour, undergoing a strict regimen of IV treatments, physio sessions, Pilates to maintain diaphragmatic strength, and mindfulness meditation to manage the mental toll of chronic pain. Her dressing room in Las Vegas transformed into a mini wellness clinic, steam inhalers, customized vocal straws, anti-inflammatory meals, and ambient lighting to reduce neurological triggers. Every breath became intentional. Every scale became prayer. This was not defeat, it was reinvention. And she did not do it alone. Her son, René Charles, now a music production student at Berklee Online, would play her demos at breakfast for feedback. The twin boys, Nelson and Eddie, turned practice rinks into joy-filled escapes, while Celine cheered from the sidelines wrapped in oversized scarves that once graced magazine covers. Music didn't stop. It changed form. She began recording an EP at home, with producers sending files over encrypted video calls. She adapted her singing technique, favoring proximity over projection, intimacy over intensity. The songs leaned into resonance, vulnerability, and the quiet power of presence. One insider called it a soundscape of survival. Meanwhile, Celine became a veteran mentor in a way she never expected, through transparency. She spoke openly about her condition, participated in global awareness campaigns for rare diseases, and funded speech therapy scholarships and autoimmune research grants through her Heart Will Go On Foundation. And when AI-generated music using her voice began circulating online, she didn't stay silent. "These songs are fake. My voice is not a code, it's a life." Celine Dion. Her public stance against AI exploitation positioned her as a defender of artistic integrity, earning praise from younger musicians who saw her not just as a legend, but a guardian. Through it all, Celine Dion never asked for sympathy. She simply asked to continue, differently. And in doing so, she gave new shape to the idea of a comeback. No longer a return to the stage, but a return to self. No longer measured by decibels, but by depth. These days, the stage lights are softer. The applause comes not from stadiums, but from shared breakfasts, whispered lullabies, and gentle melodies drifting from a Steinway Grand in her Las Vegas living room. Every morning begins before sunrise. Celine Dion, now 56, lives in a quiet corner of Las Vegas, where her days follow a neurologist-designed routine: yoga stretches, breath work, water therapy laps, and symptom tracking via app for her Mayo Clinic team. Her movements are slower now, more mindful. But each small victory, climbing stairs without assistance, holding a mid-register note for 12 seconds, feels louder than the cheers of any arena. I don't count shows anymore. I count sunrises. Celine Dion. Her home has become a sanctuary, not of silence, but of controlled, creative sound. With her 3 sons, René Charles, 23, and twins Nelson and Eddie, 10, she laughs, cooks, and mentors without fanfare. She's mom first now, not the diva in Dior. Her legacy as a veteran mentor lives in their eyes, in their curiosity, in how they playfully harmonize with her around the piano. Each day they gather around that Steinway Grand, the same piano that once accompanied her voice in global tours. Now it holds improvised lullabies, gentle harmonies, and quiet proof that even slowed rhythms can carry deep impact. Professionally, Celine is still very much creating. Her upcoming EP, recorded entirely from home, blends minimalist piano, cinematic strings, and vocals redefined by proximity, breath, and restraint. Producers call it a masterclass in emotional economy. It's less about power now, and more about presence. She's also a quiet force in advocacy for rare diseases, investing proceeds from her foundation into autoimmune registries, speech therapy scholarships, and neurological research. Through her documentary, I Am Celine Dion, directed by Oscar nominee Liz Garbus, she offers the world an unvarnished look at vulnerability, how redemption begins not with a roar, but a whisper. Legacy isn't the songs you leave behind. It's the strength you show when no one's watching. Celine Dion. She's mentoring the next generation without standing center stage, from behind the scenes of music productions, in Zoom sessions with young artists, in handwritten notes she sends to fellow performers battling illness. The cultural impact continues, just more quietly and perhaps more profoundly than ever. Even fashion, once her armor, has softened. These days, she's often seen in oversized Balenciaga coats paired with thrift store jeans, her look reflecting both elegance and groundedness. A walking metaphor for her journey, bold yet real, glamorous yet human. At night, before her boys drift off to sleep, Celine lights a single votive candle at exactly 7:47 p.m., the same time Renee used to signal curtain call over the intercom. She closes her eyes. There is no voice in her ear now, just memory and love, still conducting from beyond the curtain, and still the comeback whispers. Engineers at Caesar's Palace are designing an adaptive stage system, hydraulic floors, temperature controls, in-ear monitors calibrated for her inner ear disorder. If cleared by her medical team, she may return not in spectacle, but in resilience, the first residency ever designed around autoimmune accessibility. For now, she cheers on her peers, texting Adele after concerts, duetting with fans via TikTok from her couch, sharing anti-inflammatory recipes and gratitude meditations on Instagram. One recent post showed her smiling with her sons, captioned simply, "Today, no spasms. Eddie passed his math test. I'm alive. That's my encore." So what is the legacy of Celine Dion in 2025? It's not just her voice, it's the silence she allowed, the strength she rebuilt, the mother who hums lullabies where stadium echoes once lived, the woman who once held the world with a note and now holds herself with grace. And maybe, in the end, the most powerful comeback isn't about reclaiming the stage, it's about reclaiming peace. Some days she hits the note, some days the note hits back. Either way, the song remains. If this story stirred something in your heart, tell us. What song of hers carried you through a moment? Subscribe for more stories like this, stories of voice, of fight, of legacy, because the show goes on, and so must we.